Right now, we're talking some high school basketball as we get ready for the first game of the sectionals up at DeKalb. And with me right now, I have the head coach at Elgin Larkin, Deryn Carter. They will take on Auburn. And Coach, thanks for being on today. You've seen Auburn once. You've seen Auburn once already, and does that help you at all as you prepare for this game coming up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know how much it helps, but it certainly can't hurt in the sense just that when you're communicating to your team about certain things that they're trying to do and personnel that they have, that your guys have a point of reference to kind of call back on. Although it was a couple months ago, it's not something that's completely unfamiliar to them. So, probably any advantage that you get is negated in the sense that they have that same advantage, but at least you're not going in there blind.
You played them in the Rockford Classic, the 205 Classic, and you played them on their floor, and I think it was the second game of the day. And you guys are basically putting some new parts together and things. Mm-hmm. Was that what happened in that ball game with Auburn that night?
Then we played a really, really good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There were a lot of things that maybe weren't working in our favor. The biggest of which was we were playing against one of the best teams in the state, and with a lot of returners, and I just. Even in scouting them before that game, I knew we would be fighting an uphill battle because I just wasn't sure if some of our young guys or guys who were trying to learn roles were going to be ready to compete with them at that level. And they were for about 2.5 quarters, but not for the whole 4-quarter stretch. So we'll get a chance to see how much we've improved in the last 3 months.
How do you think you have improved since you played that early game at Auburn in the Classic?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think greatly. I think our guys have done a good job accepting their roles, especially in the last 6 or 7 weeks. We've played a really, really tough schedule, obviously Auburn being one of those teams, and we're battle-tested, and I think we're playing our best basketball that you can ask a team to be playing for our roles and our ability. And, I like to say that we'll have a better shot than anybody else Tuesday night to beat Auburn because we're the only ones playing them.
When you look at this tournament, this sectional, you have Geneva, you have Auburn, you have you and Geneva, and it just looks like to me, and Jefferson, and it looks like to me like there's 2 underdogs and there's 2 favorites. Is that kind of a positive for you guys? I mean, you got nothing to lose. You can go in there and do some things that maybe you wouldn't do otherwise.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you get to this point, when you start talking about a sectional, especially when you have 4 classes, there's only 32 teams left. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for an easy game, you're probably you're not in the right spot, and you probably don't belong where you're at. And, I think if this was Las Vegas, there's no question that Geneva and Auburn would be the favorites. But the game is played on the court for a reason, and I think we'll give it our best chance, and hopefully we can come out. Make it a game in that 4th quarter where, we leave it up to the players to make plays.
Auburn started the tournament against a conference rival in East, and East had a tough year this year, but they came out and gave them quite a scare. Did you think that maybe motivated them? Because they looked pretty good against Boylan on Saturday night. Did they need that wake-up call, do you think?
Yeah, maybe not a wake-up call because they're so experienced, but I think, when you start getting into the playoffs, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure, and you're talking about 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids. And when you have expectations like Auburn has, that pressure can work against you. And in a lot of ways, that could work to our advantage if we can keep the game close. That the pressure is definitely on them, and our guys can kind of play relaxed and free. So maybe East did wake them up, or it could have just been a bad game on their part, and they got rolling. And you got to survive in this tournament, and that might have been the one game they needed to survive. And now they're rolling the way they need to be rolling.
You have one of the top sophomores in the country. I know a lot of people talk about Christian Negro. How has he grown from the start of the season to the end of the year? Like almost he's a junior now.
Yeah, immensely. When we played early March, he was playing on the perimeter for the first time in his career, and he's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better as far as when to make and take shots, hitting outside jump shots, face-up jump shots, making plays off the dribble. So, without a doubt, he's one of the best players in the country and in his class, and he's making plays on both ends to show that on a nightly basis. So, he's a huge reason that we feel that we can compete with Auburn because I'm not sure they, no disrespect to them, they got great talent. I'm not sure many teams in the state have have a kid like Christian that can impact the game on both ends, rebounding, block shots, make plays off the glass. So we're excited. You know, we said it on the bus ride home from Rockford that we would love another chance at Auburn after they beat us by 28, because we knew if we did, it would be in a sectional semifinal or a sectional final game. So we'll give it our best shot. They're one of the best teams in the state. We respect them. But we're going to come in there confident in what the work we've been putting in the last couple months.
You know, you look at your team. We had Jack Gleason on from HSB Ball on Saturday, and he talked about Larkin. You guys lost a lot of your key players from last year, but you brought a new mixture in. How's that new mixture worked in with Christian and the rest of the team?
Yeah, it's worked well now. It's worked well now. We lost 5 out of our 6 top players from last year's team, and Christian was the only guy coming back, and we were giving him a new position, so we really didn't have anybody returning. But, you know, in December, we won a Christmas tournament, and then in January, we hit a rough patch of 3 games in a row where we lost. And it couldn't be any truer for us, that old saying, you know, you find yourself in moments of discovery and challenge, you know, and we found ourselves there. So we challenged the guys, and ever since, we've been really good at accepting roles and guys playing their role. So I think, you know, we got some size that maybe we could try to take advantage of. You know, we're going to start 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", and maybe pound the ball into the paint a little bit, and then get guys packed in and maybe hit some jump shots, because we're going to need to hit jump shots to beat a team like Auburn. So we'll see. We got some things that we think we can do against them, but it's going to rely on our guys taking care of the ball, doing some things that we didn't do against them the first time we played them.
You know, our sectional is one of those sectionals where a lot of people have been complaining over the last few years the way we do regionals with the seeding process. I know Geneva, they felt like they were in a pretty tough regional. Are you looking forward, if they do go to the subsectionals that they're talking about in the next year, or are you happy with the way things are going right now?
You know, I could see pluses and minuses on each side. You know, I do think that with the way the regionals are predetermined, it does negate a little bit of the importance of the regular season. But it also makes sure that you're playing and you're seeding and you have some control over some teams that you're familiar with, where if you go to a 24-team sectional or, you know, 14-team subsectional, you know, you might not know some teams, and you might be judging teams and rating teams that you're really unfamiliar with. But I do think anytime you can, as a sport or a competitive environment, you can get the best teams rewarded for their efforts throughout the whole year, the better off it is. So that was unfortunate for Geneva and St. Charles this year, but heck, you guys know out there in Rockford, that's happened to you guys plenty of times. So sometimes it's just the way the ball bounces, but I'm fine with whatever they do. There's pluses and minuses and whatever.
You know, one plus that we looked at when they threw out the sectionals this year was that Stephenson was not going to be at DeKalb this year. I think that's a good thing, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. You know, regional roads might be a little tougher, all due respect to the Barrington sectional, but our super sectional road definitely got a lot easier coming out this way. You know, I'd like to think that the best teams left of the 8 teams that are left in our sectionals together are Auburn and Geneva. There's no question in my mind about that. So, you know, I think whoever wins our sectional has got a great advantage and opportunity to go downstate.
And if you beat Auburn and there's a chance to play Geneva, do I understand you guys already played Geneva and beat them once this year? Yeah,
we played them twice. We played them twice. One time they got us at their place. We lost by 12, and then we got them back here at our place. We won by 6 or 7. So us and Geneva know each other really, really well. So in a lot of ways, it wouldn't take much scouting in that game. We could roll that ball up right after Wednesday night's game, to be honest with you, because us coaches don't have anything else to say about one another's teams, to be truthful.
It's kind of like Auburn and Jefferson. They play each other. It'll be the third time that they would go that they would play each other as well. So,
absolutely. And Geneva's going to have their hands full. Jefferson, they're athletic. They can do some things that Geneva struggles with. So if they can get the game played at their tempo, Jefferson's got a nice chance to make an upset there too.
They're kind of our hidden secret up here too. I don't think a lot of people talk about Jefferson that much because of Auburn.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think us. Jefferson and I, we could talk about that, because I think we're in a very similar situation. We don't get a lot of talk because Geneva and St. Charles East deserve a lot of the talk in this area. But we like to think we're a pretty good team, and you know, like I said, we're playing our best basketball of the season. So we're excited.
Well, thanks, Coach, so very much for being on today. Good luck when you play Auburn in the sectionals. And I love this time of year. I don't know about you, but this is a great time of the year in high school basketball.
Absolutely. If you don't love this time of year and you're involved in the sport, you might want to think of doing something else. So it's going to be exciting. I know we're going to have our hands full, but we'll give it our best chance.
Thanks so much, Coach. We've been talking to Deryn Carter, the head basketball coach at Elgin Larkin. They will take on Auburn at the DeKalb sectionals. For the StatelineSportsHub.com, I'm Dave Schmidt.